and welcome to a new segment that we have a part of the Emos to Wall Productions brand. This is our first time recording this podcast. This is going to be a Stranger Things podcast where we do a deep dive through the Upside Down by breaking down episodes and having a good time. Uh, we can do our introductions. I am one of three hosts that I have with us today. I am Annie, and then we have Mr. Fuentes over
Hi.
here. And lo and behold, we have Mr. Drew Dredd with us as well too.
What
Um,
up?
we get to bond with each other and talk about what we love, which is Steve Harrington, guys. No, I'm joking. We get to talk about Stranger Things and everything that includes Stranger Things. So I guess we do the first breakdown of episode 1. We are starting off with season 4, which just released, not just released, but been out for about two weeks now.
Two,
God, it feels like it's
3
been out
weeks.
for a whole month already.
I feel like that too. I feels like it's been out for a month, but it's because it's a
It's been 3
long
weeks,
week.
yeah.
It's been 3 weeks. Um, it feels like it's been 10 years already because we're waiting for volume
We're
2
waiting
to
for
release. So let's get up with the opening scene. So this is one of the Easter eggs that they actually talked about. Back in the day, they had a game called Paperboy. So we get the opening scene of Paperboy just throwing around papers and stuff. We get introduced to Dr. Brenner again.
Brenner.
Uh,
Papa.
Papa to everybody. He's doing his crossword puzzle within 2 minutes. He's fixing his plans, getting himself all together for his work day, where we know he's going to the lab in Hawkins. So we get there, we see all the kids doing their mind stuff. Um, what else is there? If you notice that there's like a rainbows all over
Yep.
like the rooms and stuff.
And then he chooses a young boy, or he comes across a young boy, who is I think it was 10.
Yeah,
right?
it was 10.
And he told him to go to a separate room to do more lessons. And that's where I guess they're doing some more tests on like Brenner is drawing like a sun or something, and then number 10 has to see what he's drawing or think what he's drawing, and he gets it right. He draws a dog, but ends up being a cow because it looks like a cow.
That had me rolling. He looked at him dead ass, was like,
he's like,
it's a
bro,
dog.
you just called me like a shit artist, like
Basically.
And then he started noticing some things because he asked the kid, what is this certain doctor doing in a different room? And he noticed that there was something going wrong. He said there was blood everywhere. There was screaming, this and that. And it turns out there was something going on wrong. And yeah, that alerted the sirens and all that stuff, all that horrible stuff. And Brenner gets called, tries to call for help or see what's going on. And went complete silence for a little bit. Door came crashing down, crushed him and the kid. He gets up realizing, sadly, the kid is gone. Goes across the hallway and sees a lot of gruesome stuff. Goes to another room, or to the room where every kid was at, basically, and sees 11 there, pretty much laying around a bunch of dead bodies. And then roll the intro.
Roll the intro. That, honestly, that 10 minutes, it went like 0 to 100 real quick. Like,
Yep.
I wasn't expecting it. And then once I heard like the banging, the sirens, I was like, holy shit, something really is going wrong. And I hope it doesn't have to deal with like anything else. And then seeing that 11 was the, person that did this.
Yeah.
Kind of sucked because I was like, damn, she has this much power to do this much kind of damage. But we've seen in previous seasons like what she
How
can
powerful
do.
she is.
Yeah. It was crazy. First 10 minutes. I know a lot of people put when they first saw it, they're like, oh, this is a trigger warning or whatever because of recent events that happened before the season dropped, which I kind of would understand. Watching that, you seeing a whole bunch of kids' bodies everywhere, just kind of heartbreaking and everything. But it was pretty intense just sitting there.
That shot was a teaser, right? They dropped that teaser like a week before, the season came out. So I was like, why does this like look familiar? Like the beginning part where Brenner is, doing his everyday thing.
Yeah.
That part, I was just like, why does this look familiar? I swear I'm not tripping. Like, I've seen this before. So.
It took a long time. That's why I was like, man, I think they did drop that one really early on, a week to get us prepared for what may have happened. But we hear the music playing, the whole intro. It just feels nice to finally see it after 3 long years we've waited for it.
You're an idiot if you skip it.
Yes.
I was gonna mention that too, like, and I mean we could get more into the storyline about the episode in general, but like, how did y'all feel like seeing the characters after that long? Like, because I didn't know how they aged over the last 3 years.
Oh yeah,
they look nothing like, at least to me.
It felt kind of weird, to be honest with you. I mean, it's cool to see like where they at, where are they doing with their lives at that time, but at the same time, it's like, damn, like these kids went through puberty hard, like shit.
And then the time frame and the thing, I believe, right in the beginning, it kind of gives you the idea that it's only been a year since one time to the next. So it's like, it's supposed to feel like a year, but it looks like they're ancient already. Like,
for real.
I'm about to buy a house. Like, what's going on?
For real. Like, if you see them from season 1, episode 1 to where they look like now, they're completely so different. Like, they're grown up. Like, we've watched these kids grow up in this whole like scene, and then seeing them for the first time, like on screen, just kind of hit home because I'm like, damn, they aged very, very quickly within the 3-year span that they did it for. But even then, it kind of goes into play because they were middle schoolers when we last saw them. And then now they're already into half of their year in high school, in freshman year of high school for them. And it just kind of, I guess it goes with their age now. So they maybe wanted to take that gap just so they can look more grown into where their spot is, because they all look different regardless. Even Jane, or as we know as 11, the long hair now, like past her shoulders. Dustin with like kind of like the whole mullet vibe going on with his curls. Who else is there? Mike
Lucas has a new hairdo.
Oh,
Mike looks like a grown man. I'm not even gonna lie. He looks like a grown man in this show right now.
He really does. And then we all have to shame Will's barber, dude. Like, that bowl haircut. I swear to God, that bowl haircut just gets worse and worse.
They couldn't do him just a little justice and be like, you know what, this season, we're going to fix your hair, bro. We're going to give you a real hairdo. We're going to help you out, bro. And they're like, nah, man, his hair's stuck in the upside down or something.
No, he went straight to his barber and was like, I want what Jonathan has. He's like, all right, I'll do one better for you. Walks out with the bowl haircut of nightmares, man. But I mean, even then, like, he looks so much grown up from what he looked like in previous seasons. Even especially, like I said, Lucas as well too. Like, different hair from what he had from then to now. The whole flat top thing, it kind of goes with the whole retro 80s kind of vibe that they have going on this season, which is nice. I guess we'll go back into going in depth to this episode. So, where we last left off to now is 185 days since Elle, Will, Joyce, and Jonathan have left Hawkins. So 185 days has passed from that. We are in spring break for the kids there.
So not even a full year?
It's almost a full year. It just feels like it hasn't been like a full year, but they went from the summer to where they're
Spring
at now in
break,
spring
yeah.
break. So 185 days. It feels like it's been longer because of how long it took them to release it, but it's 185 days. We see they're actually now in California. I did not get the city name of California, but I know they are in California. We see Elle writing her letter to Mike. Telling her that her spelling's getting better, her English is getting better. She dislikes math, I think. One of the things, just getting into detail on how life is. And in California, we see that Will is painting. Jonathan is picked up the reefer smoke.
I love how in that scene where there's two characters in there where she mentioned that he was like, yeah, Will's painting, but he is acting a little strange. We don't know. He wouldn't show what he's painting, and she talks about Jonathan. How the funniest part was where she's all like, yeah, he smokes funny plants with his friend. So that was the funniest part ever. Not gonna lie.
I haven't even thought about that till y'all mentioned it, and I don't think this is gonna be a spoiler in a sense, but that painting, I don't think it's still been shown yet.
It has not.
I don't think it has.
You get to see the brush strokes on there, and that's pretty much it.
I think it hasn't.
In theory, I think
he took it with him.
Yeah, so in theory, I think
anyway,
it was for Mike. I think it was for Mike though, or for him. Him coming home or coming to California. I think it was a gift for him, but we'll get back into that whenever we go into episode 2. But
and then we see it shows Dustin, interacting with Susie, over the phone and computer and all this and that. And
she's trying to change a grade for him.
Yeah.
His Latin grade to be exact. She said what, a C or a D? Was it?
I think it was like a D to an A, but I was like, bro, you got to be realistic. Put like a B or something.
A B plus, maybe a B minus, the closest thing, so she doesn't have that much guilt.
Yeah. Right. The funniest thing was she looked over and it's like a little statue of Jesus.
I'll repent later, and then changes the grade.
I just stare at Steve when I have any questions. Like, Steve, what should I do?
Oh God. And then we get
I
Mike.
think it goes to there you go.
It goes into Mike in his room. Well, actually, it started off after the letter went into Mike, and then it went to Dustin. But we'll just scramble it around a little bit. Mike with his letter from Elle that says "Love Elle," blah blah blah. Can't wait to see you. And then he's laying there in a muscle shirt in his underwear, and like Nancy's like, bro,
barging in. Yeah,
we should have been gone a long time ago. We get introduced to the sickest shirt of the season, the HellFire Club's,
which is the title of this episode. HellFire Club.
Beautiful shirt for the Dungeons and Dragons Club, or as Mike's dad says, the high school dropout club. It's really nice to see both his parents still alive and well. Miss Wheeler looking nice as ever, with the hair going on. Crush of the season still for me. He's toasting up his toaster strudels in his toaster. And then what else? Nancy's rushing him out the door. He has a flight at 6:30 because of going to go see Elle in California. D&D game's supposed to run until 9. Probably going to run until midnight, as always. And then we roll into Steve and Robin. On the way to school. Well, Steve's not in school anymore. Robin's going to school.
Talking about their relationships.
Oh, yeah. Steve dating Heather and then dating... what else is there?
Robin trying to get to know a friend from the band.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. We love that.
So then it goes to the basketball rally, right?
Yes. We get the whole crew together for this whole basketball prep rally. That's 7 a.m. to be exact.
Yeah.
Which don't make sense.
I asked my mom that, you know, 'cause I was like, y'all, I have pep rallies in like the morning. She's like, oh yeah, we did. I'm like, how the fuck did you like in the morning?
That was their pre-workout right
Well,
there.
we did that at my school as well. Like not all the time, but like what some of the off, like football pep rallies were always after school.
Yeah.
But like basketball
Yeah.
pep rallies, sometimes they would do them in the mornings
That's
for some reason.
weird.
See, we never
Like-
had those. When I was in high school, we didn't
Yeah,
have
no.
basketball prep rallies unless they were going to like they actually made it into like the champions, or which my school
Yeah.
didn't. I'm not gonna lie, but it was mainly baseball for our school. And we did like one baseball prep rally, but like it was still in the afternoon because they didn't want it to be a distraction for the day or
Mhm.
whatever, because they knew the kids were gonna skip anyways. So they were like, all right, cool, we'll just have it after school anyways. But we get the whole crew together, except for Lucas. Lucas is not in
Yep.
the stands with them. He's actually a part of the basketball team,
Yep.
which we see him come out with the whole team. We actually get introduced to our first second new character of the season, because we didn't get to talk about Argyle at the beginning. But we get introduced to Chrissy. She's one of the cheerleaders. And then we get introduced to her boyfriend, Jason.
Yep.
The asshole of the season.
Hey,
wait, second.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll call him
get to that.
second.
Yeah.
We get introduced to Jason. Jason brings up, this whole motivating speech for them to win the championships. They're going to bring it home. And we finally get to figure out what the press told everyone what happened for the mall. So we lost a ton of people, especially Hopper, in a mall fire that happened, which honestly we know it didn't happen, but everybody else in the town, it's oh my god, it's a cover up. The Russians, we get them. We figure out that this whole championship game is supposed to happen that night, which the HellFire Club is supposed to be ending their magnificent campaign.
Yep.
And it just sucks.
Yeah, Lucas tells them to like change it, but like Mike and Dustin are telling him to change the game. I'm like, okay, when I was watching, I'm like, you can't change the game, guys. Like, it's kind of hard to like change the game.
But in theory, they can't change the whole D&D thing because it delays the whole process. So he's like, if I can't change mine, you can change yours too. Like,
yeah.
But it's fucking hilarious.
It was funny to see their interaction again after all these years. But then Lucas, tells them to change it. They go back and forth, and it goes back to in California where 11 is going by the name, is it Jane, right?
Yeah, Jane, her birth name, Jane.
She's giving a presentation about her hero, which is her dad, Jim Hopper. And then, she's about to present her thing, and lo and behold, a bunch of assholes in high school were bullying her, especially one particular person.
She shall not be named because we are not going to give her name because she irritated me already within the first, we were in like 35 minutes of this episode.
Oh my god, I hate it so much.
God, so irritating. Okay, so the whole presentation, if you're doing a whole heroes thing, and if I said I did my dad because he died in a mall fire and he's famous for saving people's lives, you would think the room would go sour, right?
Oh, yeah.
Nah, these rich, entitled kids wanted to laugh at her because she's from a small town. That irritated me so much. I was like, this day and age, they would have been canceled. They would have been told a whole bunch of stuff. But no, that's not how it went back in 86. They were just mean, very mean about it. Mean. But she also looked to Will for reassurance, which kind of hurt or broke my heart because he didn't say anything. He was just there, like,
just watching from the sidelines.
Which he does sometimes, I understand, but like I wanted to see him like, hey, I'm gonna stick up for my sister, or I'm gonna stick up for my friend. And
I did find that weird.
I just didn't see it, but he was getting messed with his the little girl's foot, kind of. So I was like, man, he's kind of thinking, do I want this? Do I not? But no, he pulls his foot like, bitch, you ain't getting none of this bull haircut.
You ain't got none of this bull.
Nope, you ain't getting none of this
Hey,
today.
this
No.
Lloyd Christmas like Dumb and Dumber stuff. Man.
But I was hoping he was gonna stand up for 11, but didn't
Nah.
happen. He did reassure her afterwards, like, yeah, it was a great presentation. And she's all, friends, don't
Don't
lie.
lie.
And she knew he was lying to her. Like, to me, I thought it was a great presentation, but then she who shall not be named fucked it up for her because she was on a roll. She got me with the
Oh my
whole
god, yeah.
whole little squirrel, like it was pretty. I liked it.
And then that's when the famous music starts hitting. Everybody knows.
The running up that hill.
Yeah, running up the hill. Then that's when Max is walking to her school counselor. She realizes the head cheerleader, which is Christy, is upset or like shooken or very uncomfortable feeling, and she goes into the counselor's room, and they talk about her trauma she still has for watching Billy fucking die in season 3.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Another notable character.
Yes.
But yeah, she's basically still lying to the counselor. Oh, she's fine, she's better, this and that. But we all know she's not. And sadly, that's that's how most people deal with trauma like that.
Yep.
So yeah, what else?
It was kind of hard though to kind of see her in like this vulnerable state because in season 2 and in season 3 she was such like a strong powerhouse, like nothing feared
She
her,
was bold.
nothing scared her.
Yeah.
She was very bold, and to see her as a character very vulnerable kind of like shook me a little bit, like to see her the way that she was, because it really did shook her up because they didn't have a close relationship, her and Billy, because of everything that I guess happened with their parents and stuff. But like to see her so upset and sad because they could have rekindled that whole thing if he survived would have been nice to see. But the Duffin brothers always have something up their sleeve to take things away from us that is so nice. But it was weird seeing her just kind of closed in and not talking as much. And then also too, her and 11, when they're together, they have some type of chemistry.
Oh, they're perfect with each other.
Like
Yeah.
they bring out the best in each other, and it was nice to see that in season 3. And then with them separated, I feel like that was like her security blanket that was taken away, and now she has to live her life without one of her best friends with her that she can communicate with too. So
I hope they come together again.
I hope so. I
really
hope they don't
so.
keep them separate. Like, man,
no.
give me a the reunited and it feels so good kind of type feeling. But we do get a little bit of an interaction with her, Max and Lucas, after the whole counselor thing. He's just worried, I guess, or worried about the way that she is, and that it's okay to kind of not be okay kind of type thing, and gave her tickets to his basketball game, even though she has not been to a single one because she does not care. I think she feels like Lucas is upset still with her because she broke it off with him. I think if that's how it went. I don't know if he was the one that did it, but women empowerment. She wants to break up with them, she could break up with them. And that's when she runs to the bathroom to collect herself, takes a big ass jar of Tylenol out of her bag, and gets a little bit
realizes somebody was being sick in the restroom, and it was Christy who was throwing up, and Max asked for assistance, and she's like, no, just go away, whatever. So then out of nowhere she just hears her mom in the background. She hears her, and her mom's abusing her, this and that, and she just couldn't handle it anymore. So she's seeing things and hearing things now, which is very, very strange.
Red flag number 1.
Yeah.
Honestly, that kind of shook me to the core because I didn't catch it. Like, it caught me off guard, and then when I heard the voice change, I was like, hold up, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? Because we thought all this was, swept under the rug, that they got it all figured out. No, something's going on that's kind of fishy here.
Ducker Brothers.
Right.
I know they got to leave us always with the cliffhanger. Then we get a jump back to California, which this season we get not only 2 different stories, we get 4 different storylines going on in the midst of everything, which is nice because I hate just the prolonging of the same thing, kind of going back and forth over and over again. So they give us 4 different storylines, which are only touching 2 right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we get Joyce on the phone. She's doing her thing with the phone calls, trying to sell to people, being a saleswoman. She gets a knock on the door from the mailman. Mailman's like, hey, Jonathan's acceptance letter still hasn't came in the mail, but it's Friday, so maybe it could have been posted for Monday. So just to keep on the lookout. And then he hands her this huge box.
Like box, yeah.
Yeah, this big box with a whole bunch of stamps on it. I think like a total of 15, 16 stamps on there. More the merrier, so they don't have to pay for postage. But it's a big ass box. And Joyce is kind of confused on why until she looks at the detail of the stamps, and we get the little siphon.
The sickle.
The sickle, that's what it is.
The hammer and sickle.
Oh, no. It is a box from Russia. And she's like, hey, I gotta call you back. Hangs
fuck
up the
customer.
Yeah, like, fuck the customer.
She was about to buy, too.
She was like, damn, she was already gonna buy A through J or something like that. Like, I'm just gonna start off with those. But, oh my God. She gets the box, she looks at it, and I think is when we get a cutscene back to Hawkins after that.
Is that when Mike and Dustin are like gonna try to confront
yes,
the new character that we have now,
our third
the D&D master, Eddie, to postpone the campaign, which was hilarious the way Dustin did it.
I fucking love him for that.
That was funny. And then we get a little character, development of Eddie, like how he is with just anybody in the whole school. He's making fun of the jocks, other people around him that so yeah, we get introduced to Eddie.
Eddie and the boys.
Eddie and the boys. And the funniest thing out of the whole scene was when Mike and Dustin were like, yeah, we gotta postpone it and this and that. And then I forget his name. One of the guys like, over my dead body.
He's all freaking out. He's all, what? Over my dead body. Just freaking out because they're like, this campaign, we've been working our ass off and you want us to move it?
That was so funny.
Hilarious to see. And then especially whenever Eddie's on the table and he goes to go scare the faculty member with the whole like
yeah
stuff. And he was just like, the other 2 girls, I guess cute girls, were walking by. He's like, oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
See, it shows that yes, he is crazy, I guess you could say, but he still has a heart. So
yes, the freaks do have hearts, man.
Yes.
But we get Dustin trying to ask nicely to move the D&D game, and then get a whole binge of a story with Eddie pulling Mike like, let's go talk. When I found you guys were just sitting by yourselves at a table, not knowing what you want to do with your life because you were weirdos, and the weirdos that were over here adopted you and had you adapt to them and all this kind of stuff. And it went to the fact that go find a fucking sub. We are not moving this game. And it had me rolling. He's like, you can find any one of them. Any of them could be prospects. You just gotta go find them and push them because they're not moving this game for anything. Which, when it comes to campaigns, which we have friends that play D&D, they don't move their campaigns. They have their campaign days and time. And if you miss out, you can't miss it. Like, you can't. Unless something tragically happens, then they make an exception, but normally they don't move it.
I didn't know anything about D&D until I started watching the show. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what it was until obviously the first episode where they're all like, all 4 of them are just playing. when they were like 5 years old. Now they're like 30 years old. So, so yeah, that's pretty cool. I get the whole D&D thing. So like they struggle to find a new member and this and that. And that was the funniest part where they go to Nancy and they go to Max. Max is being sarcastic as hell. That was funny.
The
Yeah,
whole
so that
Nancy
the whole
thing was
sequence.
funny as well too, because whenever Mike runs in, he's all Nancy, and then he's just looking
He looks at
around, and then
everybody.
and Nancy's just like, what? Like, what do you need? It's so quiet and silent because she works for she's the head CEO for the newspaper, I guess the journalism club.
Mhm.
So we see her, a hard working woman, getting the stuff done and ready because she knows that the Tigers are going to win the championship. So she's trying to get the paper together and all organized and squared away. And then we get introduced to another new character that we have, which is Fred, her side
right, yeah.
man, her new side man, and I guess her VP, we would say. Even though Jonathan was her VP, but he's no longer there. Just trying to get everything all taken care of, and Fred's asking Nancy like, "Hey, why aren't you in California? Or why aren't you going to California? And why isn't Jonathan coming down?" And she's explaining, he wants to be there when the letter gets there, or his acceptance letter. Doesn't want to miss it, so she understands, and you can hear, kind of her like, damn, he's not gonna come and see me. I'm not gonna go see him. I guess we'll just. My cat jumped on.
Yeah, that's another part too. I think for like a little small part we forgot about was Argo and right, isn't it Margot? Right?
Argyle
and Jonathan talking about Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's actually a pretty cool scene because they do a lot of back and like it's almost like they're answering each other's questions, but like they're separated, so you get a pretty cool scene of like they're both kind of like defending their
significant other.
Him not going over or her not going over.
Yeah,
and,
I thought you were gonna see me. No, I thought you were gonna see me. No, like back and forth, pretty much. So
yeah, which
it's
was
good
really
that they
cool.
feel the same about each other. So.
Yeah, which I kind of like that little detail that they did, because it's like one friend's asking that question, but they cut to Nancy answering that question, and then we get Jonathan and Argyle playing golf, I guess, in like the middle of the desert.
Oh yeah.
Which is nice because he's taking out his frustration that way, and then she is looking at this piece of newspaper trying to fix it and answering the question at the same time, which it shows their two different personalities. Now what we see is their two different personalities, because like Jonathan is now like a reefer smoker and like out here doing random shit, and then Nancy's focusing on her Nancy shit. Yeah. So it was nice to get that little bit of a aspect of a little bit of a detail that they did there.
Then what else? And then we get a little interaction with Christy goes into the woods. She's hearing and seeing, scary things, and then she comes across the clock for the first time in the tree.
That clock.
And then she gets, more scared of this and then she bumps into Eddie. This is the part where I was like, all right, what's going on here? This is out of nowhere. And then they're doing some little dealing here and there for Chrissy to, I guess, get her distracted from what she's going through.
Yeah.
She wanted some marijuana. But that's when what's his name? Eddie was like, hey, like, this is our first time, like, it's not our first time like meeting each other. Like, we've met before, and then they come across a past before, so that was cool to see. Eddie, I guess, smile instead of him being all in on D&D. So yeah, a little cute moment, I guess you can say.
Yeah, it was actually really cool, like just to see their chemistry and stuff like that. I seen like actually an article recently that the Duffy brothers, what is that?
Yeah, the Duffin.
The Duffin. That they actually shot that scene after the other scene that happens at the end of the show, and they're like, kind of were more of like, yeah, we're actually kind of upset. You know, we actually couldn't get because they had a really good chemistry that we should have got more scenes with them together. And if we knew before all this, we probably would have wrote that character to be
Alive or different.
a little more different to coincide with the other characters more. So I was like, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Like, because you can see it, you can see that they're acting well together, and
It's that natural chemistry that they have. Oh my god.
Yeah. Then it goes to goes back to California. I think 11, and Will are leaving, I guess, school. Or sorry, it's just 11, just leaving the school or something. And that's where she gets to come across to the bullies and this and that. They trip her and all this shit. And then Elle just gets fed up and embarrasses herself even more because she doesn't have her powers anymore. She uses her powers and nothing happens, obviously. So that just makes it worse. Because the whole school saw it, pretty much.
Yeah, they were all just like they all laughed together, and I'm just sitting there. I was like, "You're just lucky because she would have snapped that neck, bro." Like
everybody pretty much dead.
Yeah, everyone would have been dead.
It would have been the beginning scene all over again.
It would have been like shit.
Roll credits.
But it was just kind of sad because like this is the first time we see Elle without her powers. Like at all, after the whole thing that happened back at the mall, the mind play, biting her and like getting into her, it just kind of was like a shock, I guess, because we get to see her reality, which she gave us this whole dreamlike sequence with Mike, like everything is okay, everything is cool, and then bam, those bullies just messing with her. And especially what triggered me is that they messed up her little
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Dua, whatever it is, that diagram. Yeah. That diagram, they stepped on it. I was like, boy, if you don't take your foot off of Hopper right now, dude. Like it made me so mad to see that happen. And I'm just like standing up, I'm like, ooh, they're lucky I'm not there. I'm not a part of this. Like I would have fucked
I'm behind the screen.
Yeah. Pull the ring type shit. Go in there, like grab hair. But
it goes back to then it goes back to Joyce. Murray telling her to Murray comes back in. I don't know why I'm just jumping around. That's where Murray comes in because Joyce gives her a call about the whole package coming in full of the Russian stamps and this and that. And then Murray tells her to like smash it, get something heavy and just smash it. She does that, which was pretty funny because she's doing it in public and everybody's just like, there's some people like looking at her like all weird and shit.
Taking the kids inside, like don't talk to her. She's kind of
don't talk to the crazy lady.
Yeah, come on, children. Like,
I thought it, not to like be a buzzkill, but like, why did they get like a paint can to crush it? Why couldn't you get a hammer or some shit?
See, okay, that's the same thing I thought, but like, I guess
it could like blew up. I guess.
Yeah, if it would have blown.
I think that's the only reason. It could have
been.
I
was thinking too.
Could have been dynamite, or could have been an explosive.
Yeah, a little bit of
gunpowder.
The same thing.
I was like, oh, maybe because they're scared of like it might just blow up or it might.
Well, she's still a fugitive. She's still technically a fugitive from Russia. So
yeah,
that is true. That is very true.
Technically, she is. But the funny thing, honestly, that had me laughing is during the conversation on the phone with Joyce and Murray. Murray is coming back from his Fridays 3:00 Taekwondo classes.
Yeah.
So he's getting undressed as she's talking to him about this doll that she gets. And like the vase is what got me is when he took off all his like karate thing, and the vase is just sitting, and it's just him fully naked about to sit into the bath, and you just hear him. I'm just dying, and Joyce is like, "What the fuck is going on?" But
what he's just doing.
I was like, "Hey, bro, he he had a workout,
He relaxing, man.
He relaxing in that cold bath." But that had me rolling the whole time. And then when he mentioned the whole paint can or like we got to smash it type thing, had me good. Her lifting up the dress was kind of funny. She's like, it has nipples. I was like, what else did you expect? She saw But it seems like we get mention of boobies a couple of times this episode. Not once, but twice on the booby rail. Fucking hilarious.
So she crushes it. There's a note inside. I mean, it says Hop is alive, right? But I don't know what the whole note says. So if everybody has what the whole note says, it's cool.
I actually don't. I didn't even think to write that down, and I feel stupid for
no,
it.
No. You're
but,
good. It just says Hop's alive, so that's all that matters.
Hop is alive. Call this number or whatever.
Enzo.
And it says Enzo at the end, yeah.
Which we all caught, and we're like, holy shit, it maybe is Hop, or what's going on? It's maybe a ransom letter. But what had me rolling was Murray after the Murray was like, I don't know, man, this seems kind of a little sus. Like, and she's like, well, only 2 people knew about the whole Enzo date, and it was me and Hopper that knew, so it has to be him. And he's all, I mean, it could have been someone else that was around, but like, you know,
they could have tortured it out of him.
Yeah, which we fully kind of got a hint of something like that at the ending of season 3. Like they did like a little clip bit of like Russia, how it looked like and everything. So my thing is like maybe he is alive, maybe he is well, maybe he's doing okay, but we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We get cut back to Hawkins again, with the boys running around. I think the boys are running around trying to find a substitute and trying to get everything squared away.
At the same time, the championship game is about to start.
Mm-hmm. And we get introduced to Erica.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, Lucas's
the American flag.
Yes, the whole American flag coming out. She gets introduced into the season as an 11-year-old hot ass mouth. Like she will tell you shit the way that it should be. You know, you can't spell America without Erica. So I caught that when they had her with the American flag. I was like, I can't stand them for that. So good job for them to add that in there.
That was that whole scene was great. You know, the whole back and forth, the championship game, the D&D. That was a great scene. Back and forth.
The intense.
Erica has the last roll. He rolls I think it's 20 or something, right?
She rolls she rolls with a D20.
Okay.
She rolls with a D20. Actually, Dustin rolled first because he missed. I think he rolled like a 7 or a 10, and it was a miss to the whole thing. But let's revert back a little bit because we have to go into detail on this game. This whole game, this was a whole storyline leading up to this moment for the boys and for Erica to be there, which Erica had to prove herself to Eddie and the boys because they're like, oh, what are you? Just a level 1 dwarf? And like she's like, no, I am Lady Applejack. I am a level 14. This and that. I was like, yes, sis, you go. You tell them how it is. And like the boys are just like, oh, okay. All right, she knows her shit. We'll let her join the game. And Eddie does his little bow like, after you, Miss Lady Applejack or Applebottom. Then we go into depth of the game. The game is against a character that they thought they defeated back in the campaign. And we get introduced to Vecna. Vecna, which is a dark magic wizard that can control and defeat pretty much anything that is in his path. And the boys are trying to figure out how the fuck they're gonna kill him off again because they just defeated him in the previous campaign that they've been doing. So they're panicking. Then we get a cutscene to the basketball game going on. We see Steve with his date. I think it's Heather or someone else. I can't remember who. Oh, Rebecca. That's who it is. It's Rebecca he's with. And then we get a cameo from what we had from season 3 that Robin and Steve were talking about in the bathroom stall after being drugged by the Russians. We get Miss Kermit herself come back to sing the national anthem. all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. She comes back to sing a national anthem for their championship game, which they could have paid anybody else to do this, but they picked Kermit herself to come
It
and
was pretty
sing it.
funny because that chick turns around and she's like, "She sings so great, doesn't
Yeah.
she?" And Steve's just like,
Nah, bro.
No, but he makes eye contact with Robin, and Robin and him were just like, "Oh God, the one that sings like Kermit." But Robin had mentioned the whole Kermit thing, and the girl that she has a crush on, is it Kimberly? Um,
Overheard what you said.
overheard her mentioning it, and she's like, she really does sound like Kermit. And she's like, I know, that's what I said too. And you get this little cute little moment, and I'm like, yes, Robin, the girl that you wanted to talk to is talking to you, but she doesn't know when to say the right
Stop.
thing or
Yeah,
how to
yeah,
shut
yeah.
up in general
Yeah.
sometimes. So she goes word vomit and just keeps on talking to her, and then you just kind of get another cutscene away from that to back to the D&D game.
D&D.
They're all in a little huddle. They're freaking out because they're like, shit, we only have, how many lives do you have left? How many lives do you have left? We only have Dustin and Erica that are still alive in this game. And they're over here huddling, trying to figure out what they're going to do. And Eddie's like, you know, you don't have to finish the campaign. You could just cancel or just back down now because you know you're not going to defeat them.
Very true,
And one of the guys throws out the odds to Dustin, and Dustin's like, never tell me the odds because I don't ever want to know the odds. And then we get a cutscene back to the basketball game. The basketball game's getting pretty intense. And then Jason's like, just throw me the ball the whole time because he wants to be, you know, oh, I'm the winner of the championship, whatever, kind of impress his girlfriend, yada yada type shit. But the coach calls Lucas, that's been sitting on the bench the whole season, calls him out to come out into the game, which I'm over here cheering him on, and I look at the benches, I'm like, shit, none of his friends are there, especially Max as well, too. She's not there, the boys aren't there, but the boys are dealing with an intense battle, so we get this whole cool 80s music playing, like intense synths going on, like going back and forth. You see that Dustin misses his D20 roll. He hits with a 7, and it was a miss. Then you see the boys in the basketball team just throwing the ball back and forth, and Jason's like, give me the ball, give me the ball. He doesn't get the ball. We go back to the game, go back to the D&D game. Erica is going for her roll. Cut back to the basketball game. Lucas has the ball. And I think this is so sweet in the character thing that they get, both of them get their whole shining moment.
Brother and sister, yeah.
Yes, Erica rolls. We got like 3 seconds on the clock. Lucas shoots.
Shooting his final shot.
Lucas makes his shot. Erica gets the D20 roll, and then we get this weird sound from Eddie because he's dying because he's Vecna. See, there we go. That's the dice that was rolled, and she rolled a 20, and they won the game. They all won the game practically because Lucas won the game with the winning shot, and then Erica won the campaign for the boys, which was amazing. And we get the amazing pose that Eddie does with his whole little bow. And I think that's just like a solidified moment for him because he just looks so happy seeing them that they finally finished the campaign. When they're all leaving the game, you see Lucas like looking for everybody, and he sees the boys walking out with his sister, and he's just upset because they didn't move the game. They still went on with the game. And with his little sister, he's kind of like, damn, I taught her the game, and they just went with her, you know? Right. But it was kind of nice to see everything going on, coinciding with each other, and then
I guess that's kind of a funny thing to bring up too, is like, you know, she talks about how like whenever they're in the elevator, like calls them nerds. He's like, and then Dustin points out that she's a nerd. And then, you know, now we're come full circle, and she's like got actually into the game, kind of knows the game, you know, been basically getting into the nerd life. and so now she's a nerd.
Yeah.
I
Which
think
is absolutely amazing because we see her with all her friends in season 3, like all the cool kid friends. She's the cool kid attitude type, and then now we see her with level 14 to be exact. Within that span that she learned D&D, she's at a level 14. That's crazy on how far she advanced in it, because I would have think she was probably maybe a level 6, level 7, but like she moved and progressed pretty quickly in the game, which is nice to see that. Oh, she's picking up very well. um where do they jump after this? Where do they jump? They jump to Max at home listening to the radio, talking about how Lucas took the last shot and he got the winning game for them. And she turns off the radio, goes to the fridge. She gets up, goes to the fridge to go feed the dog. She sees her mom passed out on the couch, picking up the beer cans, picking up the cans, throwing it away, going outside to feed the dog. Sees Eddie pull up because they're neighbors. Sees Eddie pull up in his nice little 80s van. He's not alone. He has our wonderful head cheerleader Chrissy with him, which is kind of in shock because
Very
Max
strange.
is like,
Yeah.
"What? What's going on here? Why is she there? He doesn't have anybody over. So we get them, go inside. Um, he's trying to find, the stronger stuff for Chrissy. He's looking everywhere for it. He's like, just give me a minute, I'll find it. And he talks to his guitar, his lovely girlfriend, uh, has her hanging up nicely, finds it, notices that the lights are flickering. Then we get our little cutscene to Chrissy. Chrissy is in some kind of thing. She's trying to call for Eddie, but can't get a hold of him. Then we get her at home with her mom sewing. She looks half dead after she's sewing. Then we get her running downstairs to her dad. Her dad has his eyes like sewn or sewn closed in mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And she's freaking out. I'm freaking out because I don't know what's going on. And then we get her stuck in this corner, kind of backed up in a corner. Then it goes cutscene to Eddie. Eddie's over here like, Chrissy, wake up. I don't like this, Chrissy. Like,
that's when you really kind of see that she's in some kind of trance.
And we see the lights flickering, everything's going on. For us that are fans that's seen from season 1, we don't know what's going on because we're used to the dust particles running around everywhere. We're used to it being very dark and scary. We don't know what this is.
Some shit right here.
Like, this is some weird ass shit. We thought this is some like paranormal type shit. Like, Eddie has the ghost, he is the devil kind of type stuff. And then we get a cut scene back to Chrissy, and we get our first view of our villain of the season. And I gotta give them props for the makeup that they did for this, because god damn, he looks like some steroid type Freddy Krueger shit. Like, this, God. I give him kudos because it looks good, scary. The way he conversates and way he holds himself, because he knows he's a bad man. Like, he knows it. Walking up to Chrissy, says that it's your time, which time is going to be an essence throughout this whole season, it seems like, because time is something that they always talk about now. He says it's your time, and I want you to join me and be with me. And then he has his hand and then does this whole thing, which makes Chrissy in the real world, I guess. And Eddie is watching this, seeing him lift. You see Max just kind of looking out from where she's at in her trailer, looking like, because she hears all the screaming going on. Then it goes back to Eddie and then seeing Chrissy floating. And we see the first kill happen, which this character broke bones, take someone's eyes and
that
just
was something else, man.
broke the jaw. Like the detail that they put into this kill was like the start of the season, and I was like, holy shit. I've never seen this type of shit go on in any of the seasons to this. And I think they went more of like a horror route, which is pretty cool.
It was definitely more gruesome than before that any of the other ones. Like even enough for me to like kind of cringe a little when I was watching. I was like, oh wow, that was a lot.
Not what we were expecting.
Yeah. It actually reminded me. I want to say it's The Ring. After they died, they had like a weird, like kind of like misfigure looking face.
Yeah.
Like that. And I know they made fun of it in Scary Movie part, I think 3 or 4. Like whenever they die and their faces are all like.
Yeah. And it was just kind of weird because like we weren't used to or expecting this kind of gruesome of a death. Like we're just used to like maybe like a little bit of blood, a little bit of like someone stabbing through, but not this.
This girl got fucked up.
She did get fucked up.
I mean, it was like, I guess we should have expected it just from how they started off the season. You know, like it's always kind of a taboo in most horror things to kill kids, and like that was kind of like their whole beginning as all these dead
You know
kids.
what? You are right. We should have expected it because of the way that opening was, how gruesome it was. But we never got to see like how they died. We just heard everything going on. So my thing is like, okay, well they maybe got shot and killed, or maybe 11 did this, but we're over here thinking 11 killed these kids, but then you know, this is happening, and we're just like, holy shit, like, you know, 11 don't got her powers. Who got the powers now? Like, it's not, it's something that's haunting Hawkins in a way that we've never seen before. Only when we saw 11 back when she was a kid in 79 when all of this happened. So we're like, the fuck is going on? But I feel so bad for Eddie because Eddie's like watching this happen, and he's freaking the fuck out because he doesn't know what to do.
I mean, honestly, what do you do? I'm like, if that were to happen to you, you witness something like that.
You get the hell out of it, man.
No one's gonna believe you.
Yeah, absolutely. So
you know what I mean? So like, I don't blame
What Eddie did, like just
dip. Who won it?
No, if you were a fan of horror movies, you know you never go to where the killing happens. So you always book it for the next year's exit, whatever. Like it's either hide, run, or fight. But bruh, the first thing I'm doing is running. Like I am not going anywhere. It's bad. But that was the ending of episode 1. How do y'all guys feel after that episode?
It was definitely an intense start to the series. You know, you pretty much, episode 1 did exactly what it was supposed to do, which was it gave you a recap what everyone was doing, and it kind of introduced you to the newer characters that are going to be throughout the series. Like, to me, it was a great episode. And the way they did it was great because now they don't have to use the rest of the episodes to tell any more stories about people's backgrounds. Pretty much everything except for maybe the main bad guy story has pretty much been told. So at this point, now every character is a known character. You know who this is. You kind of know what's going on. And even if they do a little bit of character development later on in the episodes, you pretty much got the main people primed already for, you know, future crazy stuff to happen. I think that's what kind of gets me is like when they try to overdevelop a character, and then like you just, instead of showing me cool shit, you're just still harping on like this character's background. And they kind of I think did a good job explaining a lot of the characters and what they've been going through and what we're about to experience throughout this season. They set up the season very well with just episode 1, which is really good.
Yeah.
They did a great job. They didn't waste any time. they just pretty much jump right into it, let you know what's going on, and then it's just like, all right, well, that was just episode 1. Get ready for episode 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, you're about to go on for a hell of a ride, man.
What about you, Drew? What do you think?
Oh no, it was. I loved how it started off like straight to the point. Like something happened with the 11 and
all like the
what happened at the
headquarters of how they with all those kids and all that, and then it just jumped to the them, telling the viewers, us, on where they're at now and this and that. Just smoothly into the new season, and then bam. So yeah, it was a great build up, and the ending was just did not expect the ending. I mean, nobody did. But yeah, it was a really good start to the season.
It was honestly to go to point A to point B and get us introduced, which from every season, I think this was the quickest kill that they've done, like within the first episode, because I don't remember in season 1, 2, and 3 there being like a first kill like within the first episode. It usually was a build up to first kills, if I'm not mistaken. But I felt like this one was like a quick, like one and done type thing. So I was like, holy shit, like they went pretty fast with it. So I'm guessing that there's going to be more repetition going into this, or more people dying in the season because of the way that they put it as. And that death, honestly, I felt like it was written very well, very, very nicely. I felt like I was watching a horror movie versus it being like a regular TV show type stuff, like PG stuff. And it was nice to see that they changed up their whole gear into this, going into it. So it was intense with the opening scene to where it is. We already had 15, 16 fucking deaths in one episode. So I mean, it is what it is.
They're like, I know it's only been 160. Oh.
You were just getting to know Christy too. So like you just like damn Duffer Brothers, assholes.
I know they're assholes a little bit for killing her off so early. But what were you saying, Fuentes? Go ahead.
I would say, yeah, we all know it was, or in the series, it was only like 186 days, but we all know they've grown up like 3 years. Like, we could give them some more real shit. They're not little kids anymore.
They're like, oh yeah, high school, we're going to show them the reality of fucking high school. Like, bam, death. But that was honestly a good way to start off the season, or honestly, the season, just starting it off in general the way that they did. Now, I guess this will be the ending for episode 1. We will go into depth into episode 2. I guess we'll break it. We'll stop it here because we're already at an hour and 2 mark, and then we'll break it off into the second half, and then I guess we'll release them separately because, like, damn, I didn't think we were gonna talk that long into the episode. Shit.
Well, now we know we can definitely talk about it a lot, but let's just maybe
I don't know. It's damn an hour and 3.
But I feel like we're talking about the episode in general because like the episode are an hour and like 15 minutes long.
Like that. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's pretty much the whole episode.
Yeah.
So watching the episode, just listen to our podcast and you can just know, you can kind of get an idea what the episode is like.
Yeah. We give them the full like fucking whole synopsis. Is it synopsis? Like throughout the whole fucking thing, we're like, we got you. We'll give you the whole backstory and everything. But out of the 5 characters that we got introduced to, which one is your favorite now of the new season, new character?
Oh, I mean, no doubt, Eddie. Eddie's the best one. So yeah.
Steve.
He's not new.
He's always the best.
He's
always Steve.
I honestly have to say it's in between Christy and Eddie. Eddie, because the whole freaks kind of type shit. I was a weird kid in school, so I mean, I kind of feel like I can fit in with his crew. Maybe if I was, maybe be his girlfriend on the side. I don't even know. Shooting my shot.
You can't even be the main chick. You're just.
I can't even be the main chick. I'm gonna be the side chick. I'm gonna be Chrissy, man. No, but and then Chrissy, we get a little bit of her story, which was nice. And then she seemed so sweet, so nice to Eddie. I'm like, damn, I thought she was gonna mean bitchy someone like back in California, Like it was nice to see the little bit of a change and stuff. But I guess we'll wrap it up with this episode, and I guess we will catch y'all guys in the next one. Thank you for tuning in. All our social medias, if y'all want to drop it, whatever y'all have. So Fuentes, your social media.
Yeah. So yeah, my name is Mr. Fuentes. I do music. You can check it out on Spotify, Apple Music, or anywhere you listen to music. Just search Mr. Fuentes, Mr. Fuentes, and check it out. Also, if you want to follow me on my Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, or Twitter, I think that's about it. It's all at Mr. Fuentes 361. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for listening in on episode 1.
All right, and then Drew,
I get beat up for a living.
It's at Drew Dredd on Instagram. On Twitter, I don't really know by heart, but I think it's _ at Drew Dredd, at _ Drew Dredd, or search it up my name. On Facebook, I have my personal one, and I don't really add that. And then I have my Facebook other, Drew Dredd page. Just look up Drew Dredd. Find me on YouTube. Just type in Drew Dredd.
Bet. My Instagram is tm_WT_photography. I do photography for wrestlers, promo shots for anybody and everybody that wants something done. I shoot ringside sometimes for wrestlers as well and promotions. We also do have a podcast within our brand, Emos Wall Productions. We have Wrestling Tacos podcast that do Wrestler of the Week. We have Friday the 14th that does something that every 2 weeks, right, Fuentes?
Every week.
Every week.
Yeah, there's a something. Friday 14th or Friday the 14th UHD.
What else do we have? We have some other podcast going on. The Fanboy podcast, which is
coming soon,
which is going to be starring my lovely husband, Franco, and one of our friends, Manny, talking about I think it's Marvel movies, trying to convince Franco that they're really good movies. So, I mean, it's something to kind of tune in for. And then we do have Behind the Mask going on now, which is with Mr. Fuentes doing breakdowns of albums as well. Album and every single song, correct?
Yeah, pretty much every song.
Yeah, which is pretty neat.
Song breakdown.
It's fine. What we're doing for episodes is what you're doing for your song. Basically. Yeah. So, alrighty, guys, this is our sign off. We will catch y'all guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.